everyone, and welcome to episode 29 of the WhotKnot podcast. My name is Kathy. I'm a disabled maker after a car accident in 2007, and this is a very special podcast for a couple of reasons. Susan's here, and because of that, I'm wearing pants this time. You can verify that, can't you, Susan?
I've got mine on too.
We're all pantsed up. So
usually no pants, no bra at this time of the day. So
that's right, as it should be. So, as you can see, Susan's here, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself today. So let's hear. What have you got to say, Susan?
I haven't got a lot to say.
What's the excitement?
I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. Super
excited, very nervous. I am terrible in front of the camera, so there'll be lots of ums and ahs and nervous laughter, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm Susan. I'm the dyer for Ash and Eve Designs. I dye yarn, I knit. My husband calls me old lady pants because he thinks that it's hilarious that I do things that everyone that in their 70s, 80s and 90s do.
He doesn't know, does he?
It's like, how wrong are you?
Yep.
We're all young and beautiful and amazing.
Yes.
But yeah, so I have just recently, last year, started dyeing yarn.
Lovely yarn.
Prior to that, oh, thank you.
Yep.
I try.
I've knit with Susan's yarn, as you guys know.
And prior to that, I just worked in normal office type working jobs, and this is much better.
Yep.
Much better way of spending your time, I think.
And funnily enough, Susan and I live just around the corner from each other.
Yeah.
And I've lived here in this house for nearly 10 years. And how long have you lived there, Susan?
Coming up 6 years.
And we've never met before.
Yep.
We never met before
No.
then. So we have probably known each other for almost 12 months now.
I think so,
Must be coming up for 12 months,
I started
I think.
stalking you around episode 3.
Yeah. So, yeah, Susan found me through the podcast, and that's the good thing about, the knitting community and the podcast community is you can make connections with people that you would not have even known about before. So,
No.
Yep, works for both of us.
Yeah, it took me 3 episodes to get the courage up to message you and say, hey, where you live looks familiar.
Yeah.
I think I live there too.
Yep. So we normally, Susan and I meet up with Nicole and Em, probably about once a month. And we normally head over to Morayfield for a coffee and have a chat with them. So that's been lovely, and that's our little group at this stage.
It is. We've got a new lady joining us too.
I believe
can't
so.
remember her name now.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
So if you are in the Queensland, Morayfield, Caboolture area, and you
North Brisbane.
want to come and have a coffee with the knitting ladies, the old ladies that knit.
We don't do much knitting. We do
No.
a lot of talking, a lot of drinking of tea and coffee.
Yeah. We all bring our knitting, or we bring our bits and pieces
Show
to
and
show.
tell. Yeah.
So as you can see, this is going to be a long podcast because we do chat.
Yes.
So if you haven't got a cup of tea, you better go and grab one.
Pause
and
now.
a snack. Grab your knitting, because I would say this episode is going to be over an hour. We've got piles of stuff around us to talk to you guys about. So I think we'll get stuck into it.
Yes, let's
Because
do it.
there is some exciting news a little bit later on in the podcast.
So exciting. So exciting.
And we are extremely happy with how it's coming together.
Yep.
And I just can't believe we've got to wait till the end of the year to show everybody else what we're working on, Susan.
I'm just glad I've got a partner in crime to do it with, to be honest.
I'll be honest, I could
so
not
much
do
work.
it.
How do those other dyers do it?
I don't know. There is a lot of work
So much
involved.
work.
And I can tell you right now that I would not be able to participate in this if Susan wasn't helping me out.
Same.
Not something I could actually do on my own.
I'd have to enslave my teenagers, which
Yeah.
they would not do.
All right. So you want to go first with your first, as you're the guest.
What are we doing? Finished objects?
Yeah, let's have a look at something that you've finished there, Susan.
I'm a sock lady, so I do a lot of. I didn't bring sock lockers.
I've got a sock blocker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super organised.
That's all right.
See? First time. Podcast virgin. Don't know what I'm doing. But I knit the Mercury socks. It's a free pattern by... Oh, thanks. I'll pop on one of those. A free pattern by Kim Mackenzie. Loads of people have knit these and they are beautiful. It's got a gorgeous lace pattern on it. Sorry. Organised.
That's all right.
It's a gorgeous lace pattern. It's only a 4 4-row repeat. No, this is Kim Mackenzie Mercury socks. This is my yarn. From the Gelato collection. I don't know how to do that. Yeah, like that. From a Gelato shop collection. This one's Wild Berry. So it's basically a very light pink with a speckle, random speckle on it.
So you get up close so you can see the stitching on that. Beautiful.
So yeah, just a 2.25 millimeter Chow
Colour's lovely.
Fixed
circulars.
Yeah, circulars on a and I just magic loop those.
And how long does it take you to knit a pair of socks normally?
Probably a week. I mean, I'm not sitting like a captive, but probably a week.
And are these for you? Or
yeah, these ones are for me. They're
nice.
my little tutters. I've only got tiny toes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And what sort of heel have you got
It's
in
just a slip stitch heel flap and gusset. Yep. So, and that one is the one that's in the pattern.
It doesn't like it, our faces together.
Sorry.
There we go.
Go behind.
Yeah, it's really nice. Really pretty.
So, and that lace opens up beautifully. It's a really clever pattern.
Mm.
So I would definitely recommend it if anyone likes a pattern sock, because it creates a rib too, so it's nice and stretchy.
And what sort of bind off do you do?
Well, these are top down, so I start with a 1x1 twisted rib cuff and then just a Kitchener toe. So it's just a wedge toe and then Kitchener at the end. And I always do a contrast toe on my socks, because I figure if they wear out, then I can just knit a new one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and also with this one, this was a sample when I did the collection, so I only had 80 grams. I only had 80 grams of yarn, so I had to put in contrast toe on those. But
very nice.
So I knit those in February, so last couple of months ago, but yeah, when I put the range out. And this range will be restocked. Shameless plug. So there you go.
All right. Well, my first finished object is something that I showed you guys last week. It's a kit that I bought off Etsy, and if you watched last week's podcast, you heard all about the dramas with my bedside table light. So I bought this kit from Light and Crafty off Etsy, and I finished my lampshade.
That is beautiful.
And the only thing that I did that was a bit different was I wasn't really happy with how the join looked. So I've run just a little bit of satin ribbon that's got a little spot on it. Yes, so I was really happy with how this has turned out. I read the instructions after I started putting it together, as per usual, and it said not to use a fabric that frays easily. And this is a sort of an open weave and frays like you would not believe. So I did have a few problems with that. But what happens is you run a piece of double-sided tape along the metal rims, and then you peel the backing off the special lining that they give you, and you roll it along till it's covered in the fabric. And then you, using the sticky tape, you roll the top to stick it down. And when I did that, it did fray quite a bit. So what I did afterwards is I ran a little bead of PVA glue around the edge, waited till it got tacky, and then pushed it down. And I think that you can see just inside the loop there, it still looks quite neat and tidy. And I was pretty happy with how that turned out. So I will be putting that on my lampshade this week, and I'll get a photo of it all set up and put it up here. So you'll lean to one side, Susan.
Where am I leaning to?
Yeah, just so I can put a photo up.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll put a photo up here of the lampshade in situ. So yeah, I was pretty happy with how that turned out. Okay, Susan, what else have you got?
I finished objects. I've got another pair of socks. This is actually my pattern. So, and again, my yarn. This one is also from the Gelato Shop collection. I'll just pop it on the sock blocker again. Sorry. I haven't got a name for the sock yet, and I will be putting it out for testers very, very soon. It's actually not dissimilar in the fact that it's a 4 pattern repeat. Not dissimilar to the last pair, but totally different. So this one's Blueberry Blast, and it's got a similar pattern in the fact that it's got some eyelets, but it also has little blips.
Put your face behind this.
Oh, sorry.
There it is.
Yeah. So, and I designed it to make those little eyelets and little pearl bumps look like a heart. But my son reckons they look like owls. So,
Could go either way.
Could go either way. Again, 72 stitch on a 2.25 millimeter magic loop. Cuff down, 1x1 twisted rib, which is my favourite cuff to do.
Yep.
Similar heel. And again, different contrast toe.
Nice. Very nice. You'll be all set for socks, Susan.
Oh, yeah, I do love knitting socks. I think because it's hot up here.
Yeah.
And I know that they'll get stolen because my daughter always constantly...
And they're good travel knitting.
Yeah. She goes, yeah. Yeah, they are. You can take them anyway.
If you're waiting for kids and things like that, after school sports. And,
yeah, it's really good.
All right. So my next finished object is my embroidery that I showed you. I've been working on this for about the last 3 episodes. And it's all finished. The only thing that I did differently is I added a few extra colours. I did the sky, a different colour blue, and I did it long stitch across, which the pattern did not say. And I used a little bit of mohair for the clouds because I thought that would make them look fluffy. So, yep, that was really fun to make. Those little poppy flowers took me forever to get across that, all those tiny little grub roses, but I think it looks quite effective. And funnily enough, I had some of the double-sided tape left over, so I bought a ring that you use for macrame, and I ran the double-sided tape along the edge and folded it over and cut out 2 discs of cardboard just to give it a bit of a solid structure. I put one of the bits of cardboard in the back and then glued the excess fabric over, and then using a little bit of wadding and a bit of fabric, I covered the other piece of cardboard and then just glued them in so that the back would be neat and tidy, and just put a little bit of a handmade, iron on bit on the back so that wherever this ends up, it will be known by everyone that it was handmade. So yeah, I like doing little things like that, as you guys know, and yeah, worked out well. Okay, so what else have you got there, Susan?
I have made a little amigurumi sheep. So
cute.
Yeah. This is just made with Spotlight acrylic. It's not anything special. I think with amigurumi, acrylic is pretty good for it. I use cotton usually, but yeah, for this one I just, these are the only colours I could find, so acrylic it was. It's a pattern by Crystal Droog. She's my Chrissy Dolls.
Oh, okay.
And she has amazing patterns. If you're into amigurumi, that's like the go-to.
It's really effective with the little...
Yeah, they're little bobbles. So yeah.
Yeah.
And you use a really tight hook. So I used a 2.5 millimeter hook for this. So it creates, there's still little gaps, but it creates a really nice finish to it. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, that's focusing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my little sheep.
Where do you get your eyes from and things like that?
Mostly Etsy or eBay. Mm-hmm. eBay have good eyes. The problem with eBay is you can get dodgy ones. So they're not always good quality. And when you're making toys, it's important to get good quality eyes because it's a safety choking hazard for kids. And usually when people want them, they usually want them for their children. Mm. But I had one dodgy batch of eyes, and I found that if you burn the back of your eyes with a lighter, little tip, it actually melts it down and it stops it coming out. So, it stops it pulling out.
So
but,
cute.
She's really
You
cute.
make a lot of that sort of stuff, don't you?
I used to make more than I do now because I've sort of progressed into knitting socks. I've got teenagers, so they don't really care for these anymore. They used to when they were younger.
Yeah.
So they've progressed. And my daughter's a sock fanatic, so anything she can
Sock
get
related.
hands on, she will. She raids my knitted sock box.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
Very nice.
That's
So
just cute.
Yep. All right. Thanks for that, Susan. And the last thing that I've got in terms of my finished objects is my watercolour. And I've been putting a few of them on Instagram. So if you don't, if you want to see some of the other ones, if you follow me on Instagram, you can find all my details below. I'll have Susan's details listed below in the description box too, if you want to hook up to her Instagram. Or you've got a web page, haven't you, Susan?
I've got a website, yep.
Yeah, so Susan will give me those details and I'll put them in the drop-down box. So, as I told you guys last week, I bought the black and white watercolour paper and I've had a bit of a play with that.
That's amazing.
And I painted my son, my baby boy, who is a giant man these days. But this is my son. Let me just... There we go. And I'll just move it to the side so that I can put the corresponding picture up. And you can see. So, yep, painted that guy. The black watercolour paper is really tricky to use. And I think if you go to my Instagram, you can see this on my videos in time-lapse. And I really noticed it on the time-lapse too, that the black paper sucks the paint up. If you watch the time-lapse, you can see that I actually had to go over the white sections several times to get the white colour to remain in place. But these are interesting to paint because you're actually painting in the negative space generally on the black and white. So it's reverse to what you sort of traditionally think of with painting. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll do some more. The other painting that I finished, I just painted this the other day, and this is one of the Vinci Eye pictures of the day. So I painted this guy. The other thing is the black watercolour paper is really unforgiving in terms of smudge marks. As you can see on that, you can see sort of, you know, if I've dripped with the paint or the water, it really leaves a mark, and it's really hard to have that not show on the black paper. But yep, painted that one. And the last one that I'll show you today was also a picture of the day, and that was this seagull. So I was really happy with how he turned out. And I will tell you that the Vinci Eye have picture of the day, and all my pictures have made it to the picture of the day homepage.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
Feeling very happy with that guy, and I feel like this is appropriate to our area.
Yeah,
because we have lots of seagulls and pelicans and things like that. So yeah, I was really happy with how he turned out. So they were my watercolour paintings that I've done, and they're all my finished objects. I slacked off a bit this week because I knew Susan was coming on, so I thought I don't want to make too much stuff.
Pressure.
And take up all the finished object section.
I could have just sat here and looked beautiful.
But so next up, we will show our whips. Have you got a couple of whips going on there, Susan?
I've got one whip. I've got everything else off the needles apart from one. Do you want me to go first?
Yep, you go first, yeah.
Hang on. Oh. All right. This one, oh look, I can do the podcast thing. This one is living in a bag. It's still a Christmas bag from our friend M. From Carter and Brown. You've got one too.
I have. I've got mine hanging just there.
It's great size.
It's perfect. It would have to be my most used bag.
Yeah.
So you did a great job size-wise on these, Em.
They're great.
They're perfect for shawls, even if you're doing the knitted bears, If you've got a couple of pairs of socks on the go, yep. Good,
brilliant.
Good job, Em.
And so I've got patterns so we can see what it's supposed to look like. I'm knitting Jennifer Stein Gas.
I can put the picture up if you like.
I don't know if that will work.
Yep.
The Sonrae.
Sonrae?
Yeah. And she's knit.love.wool on Instagram.
I'll just move over a bit and I'll put the picture up of that particular jumper here so that you can have a look at it.
Yeah, so I've got yarn management going on too because I'm doing helical knitting on this one. But this one is also, I'm also using my yarn, shocker, in a colour that my mum asked me to dye for her. And it's like a tealy, I don't know, teal, tonal. There's no name on it, obviously, at this point. But yeah, that's the colour. And then I've got a contrast in just basically the leftover dye water. Is the contrast, all the stuff that didn't absorb. So it's turned out really quite cute, I think, so far. But what a palaver getting that gauge on this particular one. So I've got through the colour work. I've got through the colour work section and split for the sleeves on this particular one. I'm knitting size H, but I did not get gauge. So this
so beautiful.
This is supposed to be for my mum. I think it may end up being a baggy jumper for my daughter, because although maybe.
But I think too, like really, once you block it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So this is my first time doing colour work garment.
Yeah.
It's my first time doing an adult.
We need to have a look at those floats, Susan.
Oh, they're not great.
Yes, we do.
They're not fantastic, but they're okay. So yeah, my first adult garment, and I picked colour work.
Why not?
I will say this: the pattern is super, super easy to follow. So if you've not done a colour work garment before,
definitely doable.
Jennifer Steingass's stuff is definitely doable. And I did
because it's not a difficult construction in terms of the garment. So because the garment is a simpler construction, you can really focus in on that colour work.
And I mean, I've got, like, it's not perfect. I've got a few loose stitches here and there, but I think that will block. And it was my first time doing the continental contrast colour in the left and the main colour in the right.
Look at you go, Susan.
I know, learning all the things. So, really and first time helical knitting too, which is hence the mess of yarn that I've got going on. But very happy with the look of it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Wasn't sure about the colour when Mum first wanted it, but actually love how it's knit up. It's really rich. So yeah.
Very nice.
To toot your own horn much. So if anyone wants this colour, I can dye it.
Yeah.
Just chuck that shameless plug in again. But yeah, so yeah, happy with that one. And I'm all on just stockinette now, all the way down. So easy.
You zoom through it.
No, now it will sit and linger because I've got other things that I want to do, as we all do.
Yes, yep. So I've been working away on my Deschain, and I will tell you that I did have a bit of a mess up because I was knitting, and it is a 14-row repeat. And as usual, you know, I think I know what I'm doing, and I'm knitting away. And I realised I had knit 2 sections and only done a 12-row repeat. And in the grand scheme of things, that probably doesn't matter very much. But, my brain just couldn't let it go, so I unpicked it all. I could have got away with the 12-row repeat and just kept going, but I didn't. So I did unpick it, but I have made good progress on it. Bearing in mind, this is an 8-ply and a 4-ply held together. So I'm using the Yarn Collective in Russet.
Do that.
Which has got some really, really beautiful colours in it. Yes. I really like it. It's and it's really nice yarn. I've knit quite a few things in this, and I've got quite a few skeins. You feel that's really soft as well.
The colours are just stunning. There's even like an olivey green looking colour through it.
Yeah, it's got like sort of the browns, the orange,
very,
mustard,
very pretty.
real retro colour. And I'm holding that together with this guy. So just to tone it down just a little bit, and this is a Cascade 220 fingering. It doesn't have a colour name, but I'll put the number on the screen there for anyone that's interested. Holding those two together, and what I'm knitting for Mel is the Deschain. And as I said, I knit Mel a jumper every year, and she's got 2 Urshas and already a Deschain, but she doesn't wear her other one. It was knit out of linen, and she likes the jumper but does not like how it wears. So this is what I've got so far. I feel like it looks like the colour that your grandma's lounge room couch would have been in the 70s. So perfect for Mel.
It has got a 70s vibe to it, yeah.
Yeah, she loves that retro look.
Yeah.
And it's got that nice like chain metal pattern down the front there. Hoping that focuses.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah. So I knit the front and the back separately and then joined at the shoulders. And I haven't really finished that off. I've left some thread either side because I haven't decided how wide to make the neck. And it does say in the pattern that you need to pick up and knit a small collar around the neck. But I was chatting with Mel this morning, and she actually likes the way that little lip is forming there. It might block out. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
It almost looks like a rolled,
Yeah, because it's kind of doing it on the back
it's nice.
as well, like almost
less work.
Forming. Oh, yeah. Right?
Like, yes, we'll have all your jumpers that way.
Yeah, so it's just forming a little roll on the back of the neck there as well. So, I don't know. We might leave it. We'll see how it ends up. The sleeves I'm doing differently. I'm basically going to knit your standard sleeve down to a cuff. The original Deschain pattern ends up in like a loose, because it's a loose and drapey top, a loose sort of drapey sleeve. And the Deschain pattern actually calls for a 16 to 20 inch positive ease.
That's
massive.
A lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I am knitting this for Mel with basically maybe a 3 inch positive ease. And I think that she will feel much more comfortable in that. So that's my whip, and I am really hoping, because it's going to be a crop, that I'll be almost finished this by the time I see you guys next, because it's knitting up so quick. It's being knit on 6.5mm needles, and it's a very thick yarn.
What needles are those?
They're the cube, Zing Pro Cubic.
Oh, okay. They're cool.
I like the cubic ones because they're easier for me to grip onto. But yeah. Got doggies barking in the background. Sorry about that, everybody. We're going to soldier on. You got another whip there, Susan?
I have got this was I bought this. This was for my nephew, and I finished this. Whoops, bits of fluff. This is
so tiny.
I know, so tiny. I don't know where the front is. I'm going to go with that. Is the front, and that's just a little flax light in a navy blue, size 2 to 4. And that's so for my nephew. And the yarn is the cheapest of cheap, dollarable.
So it's an acrylic?
Acrylic, yeah.
But the thing is, when you're knitting
because
for kids,
my sister won't hand wash.
You've got to knit for purpose sometimes, don't you?
Yeah. Like, I'll knit my sister socks. She's knit worthy, and she'll hand wash those. But I know that for her little boy, it'll just be covered in grime and dirt because he's a real boy. Yeah. So that's for Monty. That'll be going off for him. And my sister will probably watch this episode because she doesn't usually watch anything of ours, but guaranteed she'll watch this. She'll be like, let's watch my sister make a fool of herself. But yeah, so that's just the flax light. Super easy.
So
Have you done one of these?
No, I haven't.
It's the easiest raglan. It's just a raglan, pattern with a standard raglan.
So cute.
Increase.
How long does it take to knit a tiny little jumper like that? It's been years.
2 days.
My goodness.
That's less than a sock.
Yeah.
Really. I don't think it took me very long. This one I did.
And that's in the round, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah. Yep. You basic same thing.
It's
top
like
down.
3 dishcloths.
Split for, yeah. Literally is 3 dishcloths. It's less
Nice.
than 2 pairs of socks.
Wow.
Didn't take very long.
They should be happy with that.
He's probably already outgrown it because I've held on to it and not sent it. But that's okay. Someone will get use out of it.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
All right, I've got one more whip. All right, my last whip is my shawl. I don't know about you guys. You're probably sick of me talking about it. I'm certainly getting well over it. I love it, don't get me wrong, but I've basically handwritten the pattern out 3 times now. I'm now, Mill was tech editing it for me up onto, I'm typing it into a Word document that we've all got access to. So it's a really good setup that she's organised because my test knitters have got access to the document as well, and they can leave suggestions in it. So when I go back in, if any of my test knitters have left suggestions, they highlight in green, and I can either make the alterations or choose not to. I can respond to them through the program to say, yeah, great idea, or no, you've actually got that wrong.
Yeah.
This is what I meant. So it's really working well. But as I said, I rough copied it, wrote it out by hand. And then when Mill was tech editing it, I rewrote it out a good copy.
Yeah.
And now I'm typing it. I've taken over because Mill is not a knitter. So I think some of the terminologies, right side, wrong side, like being aware of what was the right side and wrong side, she's just not cluey on.
She crochets though, yeah.
Yeah.
And crocheting and knitting is so different.
2 different ball games, yeah. So as I said, I've taken over typing it in. So I'm typing it up now for the 3rd time, and I'm knitting it for the 2nd time. So I'm making good progress. I don't know about my colour choices. Yeah, thanks, Susan. I'm not too sure about my colour choices now that I'm knitting them up.
No, I like them.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I will say they seem to look nicer on camera than they do in real life.
No, I think because they've all got that sort of dusty sort of tone, don't they?
So I've just finished the 3rd section. I've only got 1 section to go. So this will be finished by the next podcast. And by the end of the month, the pattern will be finished because we're all going well on it. One of my test knitters had to drop out for health reasons, and that's okay. You've got to put your health first. This is only knitting. And Nicole, you are gunning along, mate. You are giving it a red hot go, and I'm proud of you.
She's a machine though. She knits so fast.
And Julia has been giving me so much assistance with just very small details, nuances within the pattern that is going to make it so much easier for you guys when you come to knit it, because like I've said in the past, most of the time I assume that everybody knows what I'm doing and everybody knows how to do it. Yes, so going along great with that. One of the things one of the test knitters said to me was that she was a little bit disappointed that she could not see more of the striping for the self-striping. And, you know, the indie dyers go to so much trouble to create the self-striping yarn. And, yeah, I mean, I like it because if it's self-striped, the colours have already been thought out for you. But if you decide to knit this shawl, you do not have to use self-striping sock yarn. You could use a variegated yarn. You could use a highly speckled yarn. You could use
It'd look great with variegated. If you picked up the tones of like the peach and the green and then had a variegated through there.
Yeah,
that would look really cool.
Or even a fade. Like if you've got a ball of yarn that is a fade. I've got one there. I'll show it to you next time. But you could use a faded yarn and then run it through. That could also look good. So if you want to knit this but you don't want to use your good sock yarn, self-striping sock yarn, I mean, you can knit it out of whatever you like. So, yep.
Well, it's a clever pattern too. Like, this is my observation. All the self-striping is pretty much plain knitting. Yes. So you could really showcase on these sections those, you know, precious yarns that have got lots going on in them.
Yeah.
And
And further up, I think the self-striping also really comes into its own when you're knitting stocking stitch. So a bit further up in the shawl, there are a couple of sections where it is the stocking stitch, so you do get to see it. But that's just one comment that's been made by one of the test knitters, and I think fair enough too. You know, the self-striping sock yarn is special yarn, and you do not have to use it. I just chose to. So, yeah. So, working on that and...
But now, designing a pattern, first time for you.
Yes.
How much work? So much work.
I've definitely learnt a lot from it. Definitely learnt a lot. And I think the main lesson that I've learnt is to take more detailed notes when I do my rough copy, which will be less work for myself down the track. And I think next time I would do my rough copy and then directly type it into this Word document program to eliminate one of the steps. I would still always knit it twice myself, but I think it's invaluable to have test knitters. I never really realised the value of a test knitter, and it's just basically somebody else's eyes on the job, seeing it from a different perspective, because if you've designed it, you know it really well.
Yeah.
And it is easy to make assumptions.
It's like when you're at school and you used to write an essay. You write what you think you're writing, and then someone else reads it and goes,
what are you talking about?
That? So,
I never had that happen to me, Susan.
Oh, no, I do it all the time. I was shocking. But just watching the process, because I've been on the sidelines watching, I think it puts a whole new light on the process and what designers go through before a pattern gets released. And I don't know, like I've been guilty of it, where you look at a price of a pattern and you think, oh, and I mean, they're so reasonable. I don't know why. I mean, when you know how much you pay for yarn, and then you're like, oh, that amount for a pattern.
Yeah.
And these designers are putting so much work, like months of work goes into
months.
it.
And
I
think
too, $7-8 that you're spending.
Yeah, and some designs are less intricate than others. And because I've seen a few people that have been designing shawls, and I think, oh, I'm so slow. Like they've said they're going to design it, they've designed it, they've had it test knit, and they're already selling it.
A lot
and
of them
I'm
are single
still
skeined.
Yeah. And then I just have to keep reminding myself that there's quite a lot in this shawl, and a lot of new techniques and new stitches and things like that.
Yeah, lots that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And
also too, there's quite a lot of research involved, like in particular the backward knitting. And I know that I haven't invented backward knitting, but I was trying to find out via other patterns what sort of terminology is used when explaining it, and I could not find any other patterns. There was only Very Pink Knits had a very small segment on backward knitting, and it was plain back. I've actually done lace backward knitting with no problem. The backward knitting that I've put into this shawl is standard stockinette stitch backward knitting. But my daughter said to me, well, where did you learn to do backward knitting? And I actually taught myself, because I was knitting on the Gardens of Giovanni shawl.
I don't know that one.
And it's all lace, and I was having to turn my work constantly, and after a while I just thought, I'm not doing that anymore, I'll do the backward knitting. Like I said, I'm pretty confident I did not invent backward knitting, but it's really hard to find information about it.
Is it like a short row? Is it like a short row but without turning?
Without turning, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. So you basically... there is a lot of people call it mirror knitting as well. Backward or
I've
mirror
never
knitting.
seen it, so it's new to me.
So, exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah. So that's my whips, and I'm hoping to have both of those almost finished by the time I see you guys next, and some new stuff coming along.
I don't know how you get through so much knitting. I just don't have the time in my day. I do, but I like to nap.
Yeah.
I do like to nap.
Okay, so next up, Susan, is the exciting news.
Oh, I just did like a little drum roll without even realising it. Isn't that exciting?
Yep. Yep. So Susan and I were having a coffee.
Yep.
Probably about October, would you say? Maybe even earlier.
I don't know. I think it was actually closer to Christmas because the Advents were all starting to
I think
show.
actually, yeah. Yeah, the Advents from last year, and we met up for our regular coffee.
Yep.
And I don't know how it came about, but
no, I know how it came about.
Okay.
I said to you, "Have you bought any Advent calendars?" And you went, "Yes, I've bought a couple actually." I was like, "Oh, I'd love to do one."
And I said, "I'd love to do one. Let's do one together."
Yep, it was that. That simple.
Yep, and that was pretty much about as much thought as we gave it for quite a few months, wasn't it?
I don't think we even talked about it after that. It was kind of like, "Yep, we're going to do that."
Yeah,
and then
put it on the back burner. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
So what really triggered it off again was I got my Advents.
Yep.
And then Susan and I started talking about it seriously, coming up with all the crazy ideas.
I had Advent envy because I didn't order one.
You didn't get one? No, I don't think anybody else in our group did.
No. I was feeling new to the whole Advent concept.
Yeah. Well, I'd never bought one before. That was the first time that I'd bought. I actually bought two. So I got Lily's Advent.
Yeah.
And Stitchcraft and Wizardry, which I really bought as an impulse on the last.
That's the one you've knit though, isn't it? The Stitchcraft.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've still got the Lily Advent. The ball of yarn that I'm using in my shawl was from that kit. And I am planning on doing a fade tee with the yarns.
Oh, that'll look nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on my list of things to do. My very, very, very long list. Anyway. So then we started bouncing ideas around, didn't we? Like colours,
we started off very Christmassy to start with.
Yeah, vintage.
And then we were like, maybe we don't need to be like super Christmassy themed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And finally we decided that we both liked lollies.
Yep. Love them.
I love lollies. I'm all about a lolly.
Sweet tooth.
Yeah. So we have settled on the theme of
old-fashioned lolly shop.
Yeah, old-fashioned lolly shop. So we have been madly sourcing bits and pieces. We've been organising packaging.
Yep.
Colours.
Cute packaging. Very cute packaging.
Yeah. Very, very adorable.
It's been really exciting, actually.
Yep.
Like, doing it together and what we have aesthetically, we've got a very similar aesthetic. So what we have in our brains are kind of matched, and it's been really good.
And just bouncing ideas off each other has been really handy. Colour choices for things. So, we're really excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that a few of you are excited about it. I've been getting a lot of messages about it.
I've had a few.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about how we're going to set that all off? Yeah.
So we're going to list the Advents over on ashandevedesigns.com, which is my website, rather than trying to run it through two different platforms. I think it'll be easier just to keep it all in one place. So that's where it'll be listed.
And the link, I will definitely put the link to the Advents in the description box.
So, and that will go live after this on Friday afternoon, are we thinking?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, probably Friday afternoon around, we'll say 5 p.m. That way I've got a time to set for. So that I'll do it for 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because we're all on the same time now. Queensland's back in line with the rest of the country, which is lovely apart from WA. So we'll do that. And we're going to have two options. We'll have a standard Advent calendar, which will consist of the usual 24 minis, and they'll have lots of other bits and bobs. We're not going to put a full skein yarn with the standard to keep costs reasonable for people who want an entry-level Advent calendar to play with. It will come with a pattern though.
Yes. And
like I said, we've sourced some gorgeous little bits and pieces that will go with it.
And Susan and I are both hand-making items for
for
the standard and the deluxe version.
Yes, we are.
So do you want to say about the deluxe version?
So and then we'll have a second option, which will be a deluxe version of it, which will have the same, you don't need to order 2 Advents. It'll have the same minis as the standard Advent. So if you want the deluxe version, you just order that. It's not like it's an add-on or anything like that. It will have the 24 standard minis, the same as the normal standard Advent box. But then it will have some other handmade items, including full skeins, a couple of full skeins of yarn, one dyed by myself, one dyed by Kathy. It'll also have a beautiful handmade project bag. We've got gorgeous handmade candles from another maker that's local to us.
We've definitely tried to rope in local and handmade.
Supporting those
small business.
Maker.
I'm passionate about that, and so is Susan.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's really nice to have that handmade element to a Christmas present.
Yes.
I mean, we were just out in my kitchen a few minutes ago
drooling.
and
drooling over everything.
Squealing and carrying on like a couple of schoolgirls. So, yeah, we are really excited about it, and I feel proud of what we're putting together.
Yeah, everything, the colours are all coming together beautifully, and they're going to look gorgeous in the pattern that Kathy's designing. So there'll be a shawl pattern with the standard, but then with the deluxe there'll also be a sock pattern, so you can use up your full
Susan
skeins,
is designing. Which
I will design. So, yes, it's going to be very fun.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it.
Now, this is our first dipping our toe into the water.
It is.
So we are only offering a limited number.
Mm-hmm.
The release that is made available on Friday will be the only release. We are not going to do one later on in the year. This is your one and only opportunity to get on board with either the standard or the deluxe box.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really settled on what the percentage will be for the deluxe.
No, but they will be less of the deluxe because of the work
that's going to go into it. Yeah.
And also because we're sourcing from other makers, we need to give them a finite number. We can't just go, we want this many and then can you add on a few more, because it's not fair for them. They need to know what they're working with quota-wise.
So if you want one and you are interested, I would set your timer. Susan is going to run a timer on her Instagram, so please check out Susan's Instagram and on your Insta stories. Will that?
Yes, I'll pop it on the Insta stories. We'll both put something on our Instagram grid after we finish recording this, and I'll put a timer on the Instagram story so you click the timer and it'll remind you. I'll also be sending out a newsletter for those that subscribe to the website before it happens. But yes, please do get in contact with us. We know advents are expensive as well. So if you are wanting an advent but it's a large amount to pay up front, just drop me a message on the website and we'll see what we can organise.
Maybe a payment plan system for anybody that's struggling but really wants one.
Yeah.
Yep. And as we've said, there is going to be homemade items from both of us in the advent. So it's going to be special.
It is, yeah. I'm very excited. I'm so excited for it. It's ridiculous how excited I am.
Yeah. Susan keeps saying, make sure there's one for you and one for me.
I know. Kathy's like, oh, that's all right. I'll give mine up. I'm like, I'm not giving up mine. I'm keeping one.
Yeah. But that is exciting news. We're really proud of ourselves and, check it out on Friday.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that everyone's going to be as excited about it.
I think they are.
Like, we're really keen
for you guys to be happy with what you get.
With it. But also, it's I think it is encompassing everything that both of us love. Mm-hmm. So we get to work together, which because we get along like house on fire. We get to dye yarn, which we both love doing.
It's quite good actually, because my brain's like a ping pong ball and Susan's more the stable influence.
I don't know about stable. I was like, I keep getting these messages on Instagram. My phone goes beep beep. I'm like, oh, and my husband will say, "That'll be wool wife." That's what he calls you. My wool wife. It's my wool wife. And
I have to send Susan. I'm sorry, that'll be the last message I send you.
When it goes off at 10:30 at night, he's like, "Wool wife's been on. Wool wife's been searching in Etsy, and she's found new things."
Well, I think we've got it all together now, and it's just a matter of making it nice. Yeah. Right. So it has worked really well, and as Susan said, we've worked pretty well together. We haven't had to have any fights.
No.
There
hasn't really been anything that we haven't liked.
No. Susan will have a suggestion, and I always like it, and I show Susan stuff that I've sourced, and she always likes it. So yeah, it's
Just
been
have
good.
to rein you in. That's all.
Yeah, that's enough. No more.
Like that's
Stop.
enough.
All right, so that's the Advents.
Yeah, it's
so
very
that's
exciting. So
very exciting.
Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will pop a link. Well, there'll be a link in the down bar. Oh, I do that podcast thing. There'll be a link in the down bar.
Very good, Susan.
And I know I'm getting good at it. And I will pop a timer up on the Instagram stories so that those of you that want it
Exciting.
won't miss out.
Oh. So that's the Advents. For everybody that's been messaging me, that's the Advents. Now, for those that have been watching, you know I have a new segment called Ravelry Revealed. And
I'm not participating because
Susan,
my Ravelry is, I think, worse. I'm a pattern buyer. Don't knit them.
chronic pattern buyer. Yeah.
Got to support designers.
Absolutely.
That's where I was going actually with when you were talking about your thing, and I said the amount of work put into it.
Yeah.
You need to pay for those patterns, people.
Yep. But, so I have pulled a skein of yarn out of my stash, and this has probably been in my stash for 2 years. This is a Knit Picks Provincial Tweed.
Ooh.
And that is the yarn there. It's blowing out a little bit on the camera, I will say. It looks very, very red, doesn't it?
But it's more rusty.
Yeah.
Closer to the one you're knitting for mill at the moment.
Yeah, in real life it's definitely not as vibrant as that. But as you can see, it's got the Tweedy dongles in it. And I bought this yarn specifically to knit.
Give me a look.
Yep. To knit the Geo Lace by Janice Hope. And I'll put a picture of that in the middle here. And I really like this jumper. The yoke on it is stunning in the lace work. I like that it offers you 2 options on the style. So you can knit it as a standard jumper, or you have the option, because it's actually a pattern that you could knit for a pregnant woman. It's classified as a maternity option, but it has like a trapeze lower section if you would like to knit that instead. So you do have some options within the pattern.
So is it tunicky?
It can be tunicky,
Oh,
yes.
nice.
Yeah, and it's a really nice pattern. I really, really like it. Do I want to still knit it with this yarn? Absolutely, I do. The yarn is so soft.
Because Donegal Nep's yarn usually is quite rustic.
Yeah.
I found the ones that I've played with, but this one is really, really, really soft.
Yeah, it's a really nice yarn. I really like
Is it trending at the moment? Have you noticed? I think the tweeds are trending, yeah.
Coming back. Well, they did sort of have a bit of
lot of dyers dyeing it, and there's a lot of companies releasing them, which is nice because I love a tweed.
Yeah. I don't think I've... Oh, no, I have bought some from Bendigo Wool Mills that I knit up that was Bendigo. Tweed.
It's not as soft as that, though.
I'll tell you what the makeup of this is. So this is classified as a worsted weight. It is 80% superwash fine Highland wool, which I've used before. It is a very soft. It's got 20% dongles. It's 250 yards. Gentle machine wash. You can actually tumble dry it. Low tumble dry.
DK weight.
Yeah. Yeah. So at some point I will knit this into the Geo Lace jumper.
So how many of these have you got?
Those skeins?
Yeah. She hides her wool. She's a wool hider.
Stuff it in everywhere. I think I've got 5 skeins of
5.
that. Mm.
And this will be for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll knit it for me and it'll go up in my wardrobe along with all the other ones that I never wear.
Beautifully preserved because we live in Queensland.
Yeah. I'm a process knitter.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
Yeah, I like the process.
I don't know, actually.
I like the whole process.
Yeah.
I like finding the pattern, finding the yarn, buying the yarn. Yeah, I like the whole process of it.
I think I'm a process knitter, but more for the relaxation component of it. I like to be able to sit and then switch off my brain. I don't even hear my teenagers.
Yeah. How have
Not
you
that they're
found?
noisy.
How have you found that with the?
The colour work?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't switch my brain off for that.
No. Yeah.
It was quite intuitive though.
Yeah.
The
You probably get to
yeah.
the stage where you could do that.
read, like, you just look at the line of the pattern and then you'd be like, yep, I know that it's like, 5 of this, 2 of that, 5 of this, 3 of that. So it's quite intuitive. Once you've done like 2 or 3 of the, the grid, because it was a 12-stitch grid.
You're in business.
You're in business for the rest of the round. But every round is different, clearly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But it's addictive.
Tell us in the comments below if you're a process knitter or a product knitter. What do you prefer to do? I'd be interested to know what people's preferences are there.
Yeah,
so drop us a comment.
I'd say my mum's a process knitter too, because she knits for her grandkid.
See, my mum was a product knitter. She had to be a product knitter. There were 6 of us.
Actually, yeah, she might be a product.
Mum wanted the product so that she could get it on our backs and get onto the next kid's jumper.
Yeah, my mum churns out toddler jumpers like it's no tomorrow. And it's the old school as well, like not in the round, the old school, but pieced
together.
Old, the patterns.
Yeah, my mum knits that style as well. Yeah. Yeah.
They're a good jumper though. Sturdy.
Yeah. And I think too, sometimes they actually fit you better. The pieced jumpers.
I just can't stand sewing.
Even
doing the ends. Even doing the ends, just
not a fan.
Not a fan.
So, yep, that's my Ravelry revealed, and that jumper will be knit at some stage in my life out of that yarn.
Next fortnight, it'll be on the needles. Guaranteed.
That is the big problem with doing this Ravelry revealed section.
You want to cast everything on.
Yeah, I keep thinking, okay, I'll cast that on next. Well, I've done that for the last 3 episodes now, and then I think that now I want to cast that one on. So
did you though, or did you?
No, I haven't. But once I finished Mill's jumper, I'm keen to. Well, now I want to cast that one on, don't I?
I'm a one thing one time monogamous knitter. More than one thing on the needles stresses me out.
Yeah, I mean, I do it for that's how I have always knit.
Yeah.
But I also try and stick to what I'm knitting so that I've got something to show you guys for the podcast. Because if I jump all around, I'll never finish anything.
I've watched plenty of podcasts like that, and I don't mind those either.
Yeah.
I don't mind seeing all the new cast-ons.
I'm pretty goal-oriented. I like to see the end.
I just couldn't do it, though.
The end post.
Yeah. Finished objects. Good.
All right. So the next bit that I've got here for you is my Etsy seller. And this is a very, very, very special Etsy seller. Very near and dear to my heart. She's only got 55 sales in her shop. And she is my daughter. So the Etsy seller that I have this week is this Etsy shop.
Oh, that's
the wrong side. Let me get my bits and pieces. It's
down a bit.
artbymandymeow. And I will link her in the show notes. And what she started doing is she started designing stickers. Now, she is designing stickers that are body positivity, but she's also designing stickers that are for knitting and crocheting and crafting and things like that. So I asked her to send me a pack of her recent designs, and this is the pack she sent me. I've stuck them on this piece of timber so that you can see them all in one go. But they look smaller there, don't they, Susan?
They do look smaller. Here, I will hold one up. If you look, it's the size of the palm of my hand for the little kitty cat. I don't know if it's focusing or not.
Yeah, they're quite big.
Yeah. So they're decent size.
Yeah. So she's coming up with some new designs. She's got these in her shop at the moment. I will put some images here flashing through of some of the other designs that she's done that she's got in her shop at the moment. I actually bought 2 sets of these because I gave Susan a set for being on the podcast.
And I will say that they're really good quality. They're like a matte finish. So, some stickers are shiny. These ones are a lovely
I think they're
lovely matte
vinyl,
finish. Yeah,
vinyl stickers.
so they're
high
very,
quality.
they're quite thick.
Yeah.
And I know, because I have teenagers, I have mentioned that, but it's trending at the moment that you stick stickers all over your laptop, which mum does not like, but teenagers do. So I would imagine these will get whipped off me as soon as I get home for the laptops, because my daughter knits. So
yeah. So Mill is doing packs. I bought the pack of 6 for $30. So that's fairly reasonable, but she is selling the individual stickers. So for the price of a cup of coffee and postage she's including, let me get my face out of that. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can support an indie maker and designer, because she's designing these herself as well. And free postage. Free postage. So come buy one of Mill's stickers.
Yep, you need them in your life.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah. And
this one's my favourite.
She's coming up with all new designs all the time.
I'll show you, because, can you see it? It looks like, is that focusing?
Yep.
It looks like a tattoo.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
What about this?
I really like that one.
I'm not mad, I'm just counting. So true.
My kids say that to me all the time. What's wrong with you, Mum? Nothing. Shh. I'm counting.
Somebody asked me the other day, what do you do if somebody interrupts you when you're counting? And I'll tell you what I do. If I'm counting and my husband starts speaking to me, I just count
11,
loudly.
12.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
we all do that.
Who says you're counting? Yeah. Yep. So the other thing that Mill has started doing, and she's put these in as a gift for me, are the pins. So, yep.
And they're a good size too. They're not like the little button size.
Yeah. She makes them from scratch herself. So, yeah. Really nice. Thanks, Mill. Good luck.
I don't think she'll need luck. I think all the knitters out there will want these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I said, she's coming up with new designs. She's got some really nice new designs coming in. She just got an order delivered this morning, and she was FaceTiming me and showing me. So
yeah, no.
She's going to have them all loaded up into the store by the time this podcast goes up. So, yeah, go and check out her Etsy store. That's it. Next up, For Me From Me. So if you don't like the For Me From Me section because it is a trigger for you, that's fine. Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast with Susan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun and a bit of an eye-opener for you, Susan.
Yep, I don't do front of cameras. I really don't. But hey, I'm here in all my glory.
That's right. And so if you've just joined us for the main part of the podcast, thanks for popping in, and it's been lovely spending some time with you, and hopefully we will see you back on the next episode. But for the rest of us, what have Susan and I been buying?
I haven't bought a lot. I've got one thing.
Well,
it's one
Susan.
of many. There was a big box that came, but I only brought one with me.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I will. All right, For Me From Me. What have I been spending my money on? And you've only got one thing, is that right, Susan?
I've only got one thing.
So I'll go first, and because I have got more than one thing. Surprise, surprise. So I've been looking around for a little rest for my paintbrushes when I'm painting. And I really wanted to support somebody that actually, I didn't want to buy a commercial one. I wanted to support somebody that actually makes them themselves. And I found this lady. Such a cute little card that she's got there. And she is on Etsy. So I will put her name on the screen here. Let me just get my glasses so I can give you all the facts and figures. Her Etsy store is called Emotion. And she is in St. Petersburg. And she put in this little note for me, and English is her second language. It's so cute. Hello, Miss Kathy. Thank you for choosing my artwork. Please write my feedback. It's important for small shops so much. Thank you, Sasha.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So thank you, Sasha. Now, what did I buy from Sasha? I bought this little fox. She's made this.
Oh, wow.
Isn't it cute? There we go. Little brush rest. The bottom of it has got like an eggshell crazing on it with the little fox. So it was so cute. So thank you, Sasha. It did take a little while to get here, but well worth the wait. So, yep, I was really happy with that. So that's one little thing that I've purchased. And I'll do one more and then you can do yours.
Yeah.
So this was a kit that I've bought off Etsy. And this is from Bombed Yarns on Etsy. And she mainly is a yarn dyer, but she also offers these kits. And this kit is to dye, it's got all the things in it that you need to dye your own silk scarf. So my plan is to do that this week. I love a good kit.
And dyeing, can't really go wrong, can you?
No.
You could use your wood stamps on it.
Yeah, I could.
Ooh.
But the yarn is dyed with natural yarn, like natural dyes. So you get a bag full and it basically looks like potpourri in there. All dried flowers. So the scarf will be dyed with natural flower products. And there's plenty in there. So I'm looking forward to having a go. I've got my silk scarf, which is in like a natural colour.
Sorry.
And these are designed by Danny. And she's on Etsy, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Twitter.
Oh, I think I've seen this before. They call it like wildlife dyeing, don't they?
Yeah.
Where you actually put the flowers on to the silk.
I think there's a combination
Oh,
of the two. Oh. It's actually really good because it's got this instruction sheet in it. Not only has it got the instructions, but it's got all the pictures too. But if you look, I think you're right. There are some options there, Susan, in the top middle there where she's got the bits and pieces laid out onto the silk scarf. So I'll be doing that this week and I will show you how my scarf ended up on the next episode.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
What have you got there, Susan?
I have got a scented candle from my favourite scented candle maker. We actually got a big box full of scented candles. It's not much to look at. I'm just going to take it out of the box. Jess from Gypsy Soul Candles. These are my favourite. They're a white frosted glass and they've got a little wooden lid. And this one is one of her leftover Christmas ones. It's called Plum Delicious.
Oh.
It smells amazing. My husband works with her. She's a nurse. That's her real job. And Jess makes, with Gypsy Soul Candles, makes the most amazing soy scented candles. I bought the girls some for Christmas and we spend hundreds of dollars with this lady. Just can't help myself. And she's having a sale at the moment. She's actually doing, and this is what we bought them from, she's doing a sale up until Friday midnight. And proceeds from the sale, a lot of them are like retired scents or retired containers. She calls them upcycled. They're not upcycled. They're just retired containers or scents that she's using. And the proceeds from the sales of the candles, she does it every year, goes towards like a winter relief appeal. She works with a local charity and buys sleeping bags and dignity products and all that sort of thing.
Nice.
And they get donated. And yeah, so every year she does it. So I may have spent quite a lot of money this week with her, and
Sounds
this
like
is,
for a
I
good
just bought
cause.
one, but I got a massive big box full of candles for a good cause. But if you want soy candles, she does ship and they're extremely reasonable. I don't know how she manages to charge what she charges because they're less than if you went to Kmart or Target or something like that.
Actually,
So,
that little one over there is one. I've got a set of 3 from Susan for Christmas, and I've actually had that one sitting there because I really liked the smell of it. And when I'm sewing on my sewing machine, I can smell it.
What flavour is that one?
That one is the candy cane.
Ooh,
and it's,
nice.
as I said, I've had the lid off it and just have it sitting near the sewing machine, and it smells beautiful. And this is a nice black container too.
She does white ones like that as well.
Yeah.
And pink, I think, in these containers. But yeah, so she's only just moved as well. She sells out
the
of
others. Yeah.
She sells out of Facebook. Gypsy Soul Candles on Facebook. She's on Instagram at Gypsy Soul Candles.
I'll link her below.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's amazing, and big heart.
Yeah, I like it. I like to support makers like that, and then they're supporting a good cause.
Yeah, and most of it she does for, like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how she makes any money out of it, but she does it, I think, for love and charity, and yeah, and you get a beautiful product as well. So that's what I've bought a lot of.
I'm sorry about the dogs this episode. They've been so bad.
There's a stranger in your house.
So naughty.
You're like, where's Mum? Why am I not on her lap? And who is that strange woman?
Because Buddy's normally here. I normally have them all here with me, and then they don't bark so much. But they've really put on a show today. Look, what can I say, people? I have dogs.
Real life.
Now, another thing that I've purchased, which I'm also looking forward to making, is I've bought this brooch kit, and this also came from overseas, and I bought this ages ago, and it's only just arrived, and I thought it was appropriate because the brooch itself is going to be a little palette of paints with 2 paintbrushes, and I opened this just to have a look because I wasn't actually sure what I was buying. The instructions, as per usual, are in another language. So that's all right. You know, I've worked it out in the past and I'll work it out again. But you basically get this little piece of felt, and it's got the picture stamped onto it. And what I would need to do after having a quick look through is sew the beads onto this piece of fabric, which then creates the brooch. So in the box, you can see I got a little pack that's full of all the beads. I'll show you the other side actually. The beads. So I'll be having a go at that. I don't know, that looks quite involved, and I think there's going to be quite a bit of hand sewing involved in that. So I might only have that partially finished by the next episode. But we'll see. I thought that's something a bit different.
Yeah.
And because I was on her Etsy shop, you know, I've got to have a look around and see what else she's got.
I love how you said that. I can only buy one thing.
Can't let her travel alone. Who wants to travel alone?
Yeah.
No.
You're going to make the most of the shipping. That's what I always tell my hubby. No.
So I bought this pin cushion, which is also a DIY. DIY?
DIY?
Yeah, DIY. Do it yourself.
DIY would be do yourself it.
Spelling was never my strong point. And anybody that knows me will verify that. But, yeah, it's a little timber pincushion. I'm not actually sure what to expect. I haven't opened it yet. I didn't want to lose any of the bits and pieces. But, yeah, I'll open that and have a look and see what it makes this week. So have a look next week.
That won't take you very long.
I don't think it'll take me very long. I might have a few finished objects. Look at me. I'm making some big promises for next podcast.
Oh, I have got something else.
Oh, you have?
My thrift shop buy.
Okay.
Forgot about that. You know how, no you don't. I just released a Beatrice Potter range of
hand-dyed
yarns. That's it. That's what I do. And I was out thrift shopping, op shopping we call it, and I found this book in the craft section. How cool is that?
I mean, it's so nice. It's got some really... Actually, I think, too, it's got a lot of knitting patterns in it.
It has. It actually got actual knitting patterns for jumpers and stuff, but then it's got...
But you could still knit them now. They're not that dated.
No,
that you
like
couldn't...
Vintage style patterns. Can you see that?
Hold this side up.
Yeah. And all the graphs and everything are in the back. So I just thought that was really cute. And I thought, well, that has to come home with me because I have a range. So I have a collection.
It's nice to have a couple of nice
I should knit something from this book with my collection.
Was there any socks in there?
No. But plenty of graphs, which you could still colour work a sock with, couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was my little dollar find.
Your little thing.
$1. Gotta love
Can't
that.
go past an op shop crawl, can you?
No, my son doesn't enjoy it because he doesn't like things coming secondhand into the house. But he can.
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Although I haven't been op shopping for a while. I donate a lot of stuff to the op shop.
Well, that's all I was doing. Was dropping in a big box of things.
As long as you're offloading before you unload.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah, it's like you've got to have one thing out, one thing in. So
yep. And a couple of smaller things that I've bought. I was out and about yesterday, dropped my sewing machine off at Moiré to have it serviced. So had to kill a little bit of time. So I went to the reject shop.
Oh, nice.
Also, reject shop is like one step up from the thrift shop, would you say?
What are they in the States? They have like the dollar store, don't they?
Dollar
or
store.
In the UK, it's like Poundland, that sort of thing.
Same thing for us. Although prices are a little bit higher.
They're not cheap.
No. So I bought two things. This was $6.99, so not even close to $2.
Do my head thing.
Yep. But it's a flat artist paintbrush. And for those of you that have been watching for a while, you know that I've signed up for the membership for Enjoying Art with Yong Chen. And he uses a brush not dissimilar to this for his artwork. And I'm trying to get that without getting the glare. I'm doing a shocking job. There we go. That's not too bad. So I thought I would give that a go with my watercolour and see how we come up. So I bought that. And the other thing that I bought, and this is for my giveaways that I'm getting together, but I thought it was really nice. And it's a kit to make this macrame style dream catcher. But I thought the colours were really soft and pretty and would suit most people's taste. I mean, if you wanted something with a bit more punch to it, if you won this, you could add your own colourful ribbons and yarns, but it's got nice colours in it. There's the bits. So, yep, I've just purchased that because I thought it was a reasonable price. I think it was $8 and it came with all the bits.
It's got velvet ribbon in too, which is
very lush.
Love a velvet ribbon.
Yeah. So that's going into my giveaway pile, that one. I'm not going to make that one.
That pile must be getting big.
Yes, well, when I get 1,500 subscribers...
Oh, how long?
Well, look, probably a couple months away.
Oh, I don't know.
But I plan on doing like 3 little bundles and giving 3 prizes away. So I'm just as I see things, I'm just picking them up and putting them in the pile. So
show us the wool.
Susan's dying to
I'm
see
dying
this.
to see this.
Now, Em tags me in a few things on Instagram.
She's an enabler.
She's an enabler, and she's enabled me once again. And she sent me the link to the latest pattern, and I've gone blank. It's the same lady that I knit the cat for Mill for Christmas. She's released a pattern for the dog.
Dot Pebbles.
Thank you, Susan. Yep. I knew I had you here for a reason.
_Pebbles on
Instagram.
Caitlin something her name is,
She's released her little puppy dog. Did you see it?
I did see it. It's like a beagle. It is so adorable.
It's so adorable.
So adorable.
So
her patterns are exquisite.
I went straight over and bought the pattern.
As you do.
Thanks, Em. And then I thought, I'm going to buy exactly the same yarn that she's used as well.
Did you see also, talking her patterns, she released a free pattern last Friday for a toad.
Oh.
Yes, so if you like those sort of things,
get on board.
Get on over to her Ravelry.
Is it only free for a limited time? Or
I don't know. I went and downloaded it. I didn't look how long it was available for, but yeah.
Well, I'll put a picture of that toad up here so that you can see.
Outfit on. It's very cute.
Very
it's not
cute.
dissimilar to the ones you made, actually.
Oh, okay. Frog and Toad are friends. Yeah. So that's the toad. And here's a picture of the little dog. And I couldn't resist. So, as I said, I had a look to see what yarn she uses. Now, she says that you can use whatever you like, but and normally I do, but I thought, oh, well, I'll go and see what this yarn is like. So I bought this from Knitting for Olive, and she's in New Zealand.
Stunning.
And these are the colours that are used for the dog. So in real life, that is looking a bit orangey red, that brown and that mohair.
It's like caramel brown, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
it's
burnt
not
caramel.
Yeah, it's got more of a what I would call an old-fashioned, old-world feel about it in real life.
Mushroomy.
And this mohair here is a beautiful, like a dusty pink.
But blush, like really light. Yeah.
Actually, that's showing up not too bad there. Maybe not quite as light, but yeah, that one. And then, as per usual, could not let them travel alone.
That's so pretty.
So I will be knitting the dog.
It's very soft.
And I will be casting that on soon.
How much were these? A ball?
They were pricey.
Were they?
Yeah, they were pricey.
But you wouldn't begrudge it?
No.
Yeah.
And I think for
It's really
one-off things like that. But again, I couldn't let things travel alone. And, you know, Susan, it does not get that cold here.
No.
We don't really get much opportunity to wear hand-knitted items. So I'm always on the lookout for something that I can knit with that has either a linen, a hemp, cotton.
Plant-based fibres are better for us,
Yeah. So when I was on her site, I noticed that she had this yarn. And this is a 70% cotton, 30% merino. And it's a 4-ply. And this is in the same colour as that mohair, but on a different fibre base. So this has a very soft, dusty, as Susan said, blush pink colour about it. Really pretty. And I'll link this lady's shop in the show notes. Knitting for Olive. Yep.
It's definitely got a high-end feel to it, hasn't it? It's very, very nice.
Really nice. And the last thing that I've got in my For Me From Me section, Susan bought with her today. And it is a donation to the podcast. So somebody will be getting these as a prize.
Yep.
And I'll try not to make the wrapper crinkle too much because I'll leave them in the packet for whoever wins these prizes.
So it's a from me.
For you. From Susan for you.
I had to think about that,
Yeah. So there's 2 packs of these. This one has got lovely pinks, blues, greens. Are these from your Beatrice Potter?
This is the Beatrice Potter range. So these are the mini sets. There's 2. There's another one here.
Yeah. That's the other set.
And basically they contain a mini of all the collection. So I've got 2 sets. This one's got the pinks and the mauves in it and the yellows. All the names are on the back of the parcel there with dummies. But yeah, so they're they're in the Posh sock base. Sorry, I'll get it out. Which is a 75-25 merino nylon.
And that's Susan's logo there.
And I've still got a couple of those in the shop too, so if anyone wants them.
Yep.
They can pop
So
them over.
thanks for that, Susan.
That's all right.
And the other thing that Susan had with those were these for the podcast too.
Yep. I make little polymer.
Look at me helping myself.
Yeah, you help yourself.
So there's 2 of these as well to go in the prize giveaway.
There's little polymer clay donut stitch
Markers set.
and some bulb pins.
Yep. So thanks, Susan.
That's all right.
Very generous.
That's all good.
Somebody will be very happy to receive those,
Well,
I'm
I hope
sure.
so.
I think so. I would think
find
so.
a nice home.
Yeah. So they will be going in on the pile.
Into the prize pile.
Correct. Yeah. And you've got still got a nice big pile of
I've got
delicious
a pile
yarn.
of yarn. Do you want to see my yarn?
Yeah, I do.
I've got a release coming out next week. I've got a few of my regular ladies have been saying Are you dead? Have you not? I haven't put a release out in like 3 weeks. So I've got a new collection coming out next week. These ones are sort of more jewel toned, and they run in kind of a fade effect. So I haven't got names for them yet, but they will come soon. Now I have to get my kids onto that. They usually come up with the names. So it's a beautiful gold.
That's a lovely colour.
And then there's one that's with a grey tonal, and it's got some speckles down in there as well. This one will micro stripe if you make socks. So in a 4-inch swatch style, you know, your socks are usually about 4 inches. That will micro stripe. But if you knit it up in a larger project like a shawl, you'll get like nice long stripes of colour rather than the gradient. It can pull though, so I always do tell people if you're buying this one, it can pull.
Smells nice too.
And then the other one is a speckled. So there's the gold. I've also got, and that's got a grey that goes with it.
Oh yeah, I'll just hold this.
And I've also got the same style of yarn but in this beautiful blue. I really love this blue. Again,
you like wearing blue as well.
Everything blue.
Yeah.
My house has got a version of this blue but more pastel. So this is like a tealy blue, I would say. Again, you could put the grey with it, and it would make a beautiful shawl. Or a so faded. It would work up beautifully for something like that.
Pop your head out.
Oh, head.
There we go. Oh, look at that. Lovely.
It's a really nice colour.
Yeah.
And that one's got speckles through it as well. And then I've got, again, in the same sort of styles, microstriping, speckle and tonal in this, I don't know what colour, it's blowing out a little bit, isn't it? I'm just going to say it's
almost like a version of terracotta with more red in it.
Yeah,
like
a crimson terracotta.
Yeah.
It looks very much lighter on the screen.
Yeah.
If you put it next to that, it's almost identical.
Yeah, I think if you go to Susan's website, you'll see much
I
more
will
accurate
have
colours.
obviously I'll take some good photos and we'll get more accurate colours. But yes, and then that's just a few of the release that's coming. And I've got them in minis as well.
Everybody loves a mini.
Yeah, so look, beautiful minis. There'll be mini packs in them.
Hang on.
Oh, sorry. Not a podcaster, can you tell? So I have quite a lovely customer base who make the beautiful little cotton bears, and they love the minis. So I always try and make a mini set for my range because they can make the little clothing out of that. But they're beautiful for heels, toes and cuffs if you're a sock knitter or if you want to do a shawl with all different colours. They're a good option too.
Yeah.
Cost effective. But yes, and there'll be a couple other colours in the range as well, which are still drying at the moment. There's a pink and a purple, like an eggplanty purple.
And I've knit with Susan's, what do you call that, Susan?
This base, this is my Aussie sock base. This is Australian.
This one, is that the same?
Yep.
Aussie sock base.
Yeah.
And it's really plush and really thick. The meterage is a little bit less.
It's a little bit less. It's quite a I don't know what you call it. Like a plump.
Plump. It's plump yarn.
Full play. It's almost you could get gauge for a sport weight
with that.
With this because it's 335 meters. You get more than that because I always wind more off. But yeah, 335 meters per 100 grams. So it's a little bit more dense. Makes great socks though.
It's nice
because your fabric is very squishy.
Yeah. Oh, we're done.
That's all.
What's that one?
This future knitting.
Oh yes. What have you got on? What are you going to knit next? It's pretty.
Have you seen? I don't know if you've seen. Espatrico have got. They're putting out a new shawl, based on their clouds shawl.
Oh no!
And it's a mohair and a fingering weight in a chevron pattern. Chevron clouds, I think it's called.
Nice.
And this is from my Beatrice Potter range, but it's a Siri, so I'm going to knit the Siri instead of the mohair, and in that colour, it's a beautiful peach. That's my squirrel nutkin colour. It's sort of a rusty peach in real life. It's blown out a little bit on camera.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
But yes,
that's nice.
I think they've partnered with RAVELRY, so the pattern's not available yet, but it will be available soon, they said. So
exciting.
But yes, I've got that aside, ready for that.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast with Susan visiting. Thanks for visiting, Susan.
That's all right. Thanks for letting me shamelessly plug my stuff.
Yep, and keep your eyes out for the Advent.
Yes.
In other news, I haven't really got much. As I said, I've taken my sewing machine down to have it serviced, but I am in the process of buying a new machine, so I'm pretty excited about that. I have heard back from the pet rescue. We are going to have a visit with a new dog because, my dogs aren't being annoying enough today. Look, I love dogs and I'm very keen to offer another dog that's had a pretty rough start. And this little dog has had a very rough start in life. She has been diagnosed with epilepsy. Epilepsy is something that runs in my family, so I'm very familiar with it. And that does not deter me from taking on this little dog. So my husband and I will be going up to see this little dog at some point, and when she arrives, if she's not too shy, I will show you guys on the podcast.
It's a little girl dog.
Yes, it is. Cleo.
Nice.
Yes, so I'll put a little picture of her up here from the pet rescue site so that you can see. But we'll see how it goes. There's no guarantees at this point. You never know. You've got to go through the whole process. It's quite a process to adopt a dog in Australia. You've got to have license identification. They come and visit your property to check your fences. They want to make sure that their dogs are going to good homes. And hopefully they'll think that this is a good home. So, yeah, that's exciting news here.
Yeah, it's a full-on process rescuing now. We rescued cats, and it was the same thing. It was like, Bribey Island, you can't have your cats outdoors. They have to be indoor cats. So when you go for a rescue cat, if the cat has been an outdoor cat previously, they won't let you have it.
Yeah.
So, so we've got a couple.
You've got to answer. You've got to jump through all the hoops.
But we're big advocates for rescuing. They're nutters, though.
Yeah.
Because they all come with their issues.
Oh, look, they do come. And this little dog is only 18 months old and she's already had 2 litters of puppies.
Oh.
So she's very shy. We've been told she's very timid, really likes to stay close once she gets attached and things like that. So I think she's had a pretty rough start in life, but we'll see. If it's meant to be, it'll be. That's what my husband keeps telling me.
Yeah.
But we have applied for some other ones, so if that one falls through, we've got a few. I've applied for a few lately.
Yeah, they have crazy cat ladies.
Yeah.
Crazy dog lady.
4's my limit. 4's my maximum. But yeah, 'cause 4's all we can fit in our bed at night. So anyway.
It's bad enough with a cat on the bed.
No, well, Rusty does not sleep in our bed. Well, he would like to. But we have bought him one of those big dog beds, which he thinks is pretty plush. But the others sleep in our bed with us, so yeah. But anyway, that's exciting news that I've got.
That is exciting.
Yeah. Any news from you?
No, we're in school holidays at the moment, so I've got teens at home. Counting the days for them to go back to school. No, that's not true. I love it when they're home.
I used to love it when my kids
I love it when they're home.
Yeah.
And my 2 both work, so they're not home very often. Just plodding along. Soccer mum now. My daughter just started playing soccer.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Plenty of sock knitting time?
Oh, she won't let me go. I'm not allowed to go and watch.
Oh, okay.
No. I just vicariously look at the photos, yeah. Yeah, no.
Drop off and pick up.
Too much pressure, apparently.
Oh.
Doesn't want a soccer mum, so I have to be a vicarious one through Instagram.
Oh, well. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys are all having a lovely time with all your crafting, your knitting. And as I said before, let me know down in the comments if there's anything that you want to have a chat about. If you've got any questions for Susan and you can't find her on Instagram or whatever.
Come find me, though.
Yeah, I will link her. But if you want to ask any questions of Susan, just put them in the comments below as well. Yep. And that's about it. So thanks
That's
for...
about it.
Yep.
She never does the subscribe, notify, like thing. So I'll do it. Show some support to our Aussie podcasters. They don't get the support that the rest of the world does. And it's wrong.
I don't know why that is in Australia, but we don't. We seem to really be pushing
Because
the American. And don't get me wrong, I love
they're great.
The American and the English podcasters as well, but the Aussies don't seem to get the...
Do you know what I think it is? It's because you don't do the subscribe, push yourself.
I don't think that's
innate.
the Aussie way.
No,
I don't think it's
not.
the Australian way. I don't want to...
But all podcasts, not
push
just
myself.
you.
Yeah.
Like all the Australian podcasters I watch, none of them do it.
Subscribe. Give me a thumbs up.
Subscribe to all the Australian podcasters you watch, people, and like their podcasts. Support
It's
them.
actually a lot of work involved.
It's a huge amount of work. I didn't realise how much work was involved.
Yeah.
It took me 2.5 hours just getting my tiny little bit together yesterday. So
Oh, well.
I was like, I'm not doing this.
We'll be right. We'll be right. I appreciate all the people that do come and watch and that have subscribed. And I do have a lot of European subscribers and international subscribers as well. So
Lots from the US too.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. Nice to chat with you, and I will be looking forward to catching up with you again in 2 weeks.
Or a fortnight.
Or a fortnight, as Ray would say.
Yeah. He got it from you.
I know.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Done. Check the teeth. Check the shirt.
Make sure there's no boobs.
Do you want me to put a little smiley face? Well, sort of.
No, I know where to look.
No. We can stop and start, so don't stress. Sometimes, when I first started, I used to put a smiley face there, so I felt like I was talking to somebody. I'll just cut and paste these bits, don't worry.
Told you it was going to be crazy time.
We'll work it out. Comes the postman.
Postman. It wouldn't be a podcast without the postman. Puppies.
2:17. Can I do this in 5 minutes? Yeah.
Is there someone at the door?
If the postie comes.
Oh.
That's Ralph. He doesn't even normally bark. Yeah, postie's at the front door.
What's that? Is that a for me from me?
Yeah.
Can I get to see that?
Yeah.
Good eye.
Paid a fortune for that.
And this is a from me for you?
Yeah. Is this where I was?
Very good. Dogs.
I know, right? They don't normally bark this much.
Because I'm here. They can tell the presence of awesome. I feel like a floating head.
All right. Let me think about where that ended.
Do you want to just start from the beginning?